this pot roast, favorite lazy things to eat with your potatoes. I'm gonna show you how to do those little carrot ribbons. And I use these carrot ribbons all the time. If you don't make this, you're missing out. Pot roast, I'm making it with some leeks. I love the flavor of leeks. I do want to show you one thing about how to clean leeks. Leeks grow in sandy soil, so on the inside, it's dirty, so we're gonna have to clean them really well. So when you do this, you kind of zhuzh them around. When you shake them around, the dirt will go to the bottom. Don't pour the water back over here because then you'll be putting the dirt over the leeks. I'm gonna saute the carrot ribbons because that's gonna be like my little crowning glory for the pot roast, because pot roast can be boring. I want this pot roast to be like, oh my gosh. Side here is where I put my punch of flavor, where I use my seeds. I have some fennel seeds, cloves, some red peppercorns in here. We're gonna season it really generously with salt. So we're gonna sear it, not to cook it, just to give it textural and then the visual color difference. When you're braising items, you don't want to cover the whole thing. You want to cover 75% of the meat. You don't want to have it completely submerged. The braise is out of the oven. And it is actually fork tender. So we're gonna let it rest for a little bit because we have to do something else to the sauce. We're gonna pull out makeshift bouquet garni. And this is how we're gonna thicken it. I have some butter here and some flour. Mash around the flour and the butter together. Pour it in here, and then you're gonna mix it. This is gonna thicken it. This is one of my little arsenal things that I always have in the cupboard, these canned potatoes. 2 cans of diced tomatoes with the juice. So we're gonna bring this to a boil for a couple minutes. It's been bubbling, it looks really, really good. What we're gonna add is these pearl onions that you can buy frozen, and I add them last because I want them to maintain their texture and their crunchiness for the texture and their color. When you have these chuck roasts, everything's divided by the fat that's in between. Even though this is pot roast, I want it to be elegant. So even though it has some fatty particles on it, I want to remove it so that whoever's eating it feels like they're having like a really elegant dish. And I'm gonna use the potatoes as sort of like boulders on the dish. Remember the carrot ribbons we did earlier? This is why we did the carrot ribbons. And this is how it makes you get like a simple dish, a humble dish like pot roast, and it elevates it to a different level. Because you know, when you do a pot roast, everything cooks in the same juice and it's all brown. That's why I didn't add the potatoes earlier and I didn't add all the onions, because if not, these potatoes wouldn't even be as white as they are now. This potato is amazing. What farmer's market did you get it from? The meat is quite luscious. What are these orange things? So crunchy and texturous. This is a winning dish. If you don't make this, you're missing out. Listen, if you found value in this and you learned something, please subscribe and you hit the bell. Please hit the all, because then that way you'll get all the videos every time I upload something.